So, what do you get with Nick Cage, weirdly groomed chest hair, the 80s, and a random Billy Zane appearance? Well, let's talk about it. Hey, how's it going, guys? So back with another review. This is going to be an older one, older movie, back in 1983. It's called Valley Girl. It's Nick Cage's first actual lead role. He did have a little cameo in Fast Times at Ridgemont High, but this is his actual first lead role for any movie. Basically, what we're going to do is kind of get into it, share some information about it. It's going to be more of a movie review, but, we'll talk about it. And Mid-Level, Ken from Mid-Level Media is doing a Nick Cage month. So this is where I got the idea from. He, brought up top 10 Nick Cage movies. This wasn't in it, but I looked up Nick Cage. I wanted to see, what movie have I not watched of his, which there are a couple definitely that I haven't seen. I know there's one, A Kiss with a Vampire, which I definitely need to pick up. I've seen tidbits of it, but I haven't seen everything. But that seems like that's one of the roles where he's just outrageous Nick Cage. Which, the crazy thing is there are little spurts in this movie of just random, drunk Nick Cage. It's super enjoyable. So let's get into it. One fun little fact that I did see, and it really I picked out really quick, and I kind of had to look it up just to make sure I was right. But one of the main lead's friends, Lauren, she's actually played by E.G. Daily. E.G. Daily voiced Tommy from the Rugrats. So once I kind of heard that, I thought of, Rugrats, and I thought of Tommy. So I wanted to double check and make sure, but sure enough. So any single time she was in the movie, that's all I heard. I literally, every time she said something or was talking to anybody, I was just hearing Tommy from the Rugrats. So that was weird. Definitely took me out a little bit, but yeah. So basically the story is, the main girl dumps her dumb, obviously 80s, this jockey dumb boyfriend, sees Nick Cage at a party. Well, she sees her at a beach, or sees him at a beach first, then sees him at a party after the fact, and they kind of, they hit it off. They seem like they're having a great time talking, and then obviously the dumb ex-boyfriend kind of gets in the way, fights Nick Cage. One thing leads to another, gets kicked out of the party, and then Nick Cage, literally they drive away, and then he's just like, you know what? I think I love her. I like her a lot. Let's go back. So then he goes back, they start dating. The weird thing is, he's not really in this movie as much as you think he would be. It's definitely focused more on her, the main character, which, she does a great job, but it's really weird and disjointed. But basically, after they meet each other, what happens is they have this weird 80s montage dating thing where, like, they're going on dates nonstop. You get the cool 80s music in the background. They're having fun, they're joking around, they're laughing. You don't really hear a lot of the dialogue. It's just more of them doing things. So it seems like that goes over a long period of time. And then basically there's a weird kind of spot in the movie, maybe around the second act or so, where, she's talking to her dad, which I think this really isn't the stereotypical movie for the 80s, just because her dad's a huge pothead. Like, her mom literally looks like, this was the 80s, so her mom looks like she's like 2 years older than her, or maybe around the same age. So little details like that definitely picked it out for me. It just, I don't know, it was weird. I couldn't get fully into the story, but, the movie's Valley Girl, how deep can you get into it? But basically, she kind of talks to her dad, and it's a really weird conversation because her dad's super understanding. Definitely is on board with whatever she wants to do. But she says, should I go date my ex, or should I talk to, Nick Cage? Nick Cage seems like a really awesome guy. And her dad's just like, what do you want to do? She's like, well, I want to date Nick Cage. And then she goes back to her ex-boyfriend. It just seems really weird and disjointed, where, like, your dad's telling you should do what you want to do. You're saying what you want to do. And then you go back, and it's basically because, the peer pressure of her friends, and she wants to be popular, and she wants to be the Valley Girl, and Nick Cage is like the weird out there type of guy. So basically Nick Cage's character kind of goes into a deep spiral. This is where you get a lot of the Nick Cage isms. It's it's funny because he has one drink and then he acts drunk, and you hear him like, hooting and hollering around, randomly yelling some things. He goes to a bar and randomly makes out with some chick that apparently he knows, but he doesn't know. It's really, I don't know. It's really kind of, the second act really goes from like, oh, they love each other to, oh, they hate each other. And then Nick Cage, being Nick Cage, wants her back, basically goes to, sleep in front of her house in a sleeping bag. The whole plan is if he gets in front of her, she's going to realize that she loves him still, and then they're going to get back together. So he disguises himself as a waiter. It's just a really weird what he does, but, whatever. He thinks it's going to work. I even think, too, one time he was a waiter, and he goes to bring the food out to them, and literally accidentally spits his gum out on one of the actors. And I don't know if it seemed like it wasn't planned, because they kind of look confused on why the gum just got spit on them. And then Nick Cage just yells something real quick, grabs the gum, runs away, and then boom, scene's done. So who knows? Maybe that wasn't in the script. That was just something random. But it's just a weird 80s movie. It's really cool to see that the family is really easygoing, at least, because I know a lot of the 80s movies, it's, you're going to college, the dads are really strict, you're doing this, and then that's it kind of thing. So it's really cool, at least to see that. I will say this, there was a really weird subplot with one of her friends. She really likes this guy named Skip, and Skip is at a party with her, and then her mom is like hosting because, they're all in high school, but, they're serving alcohol and stuff, and the parents are just okay with it. They don't even care. And Skip starts flirting with the girl, and then the mom starts flirting with Skip, and then there literally is like a weird love triangle where like he just shows up at her house one time, and like she's in the shower, and you think it's the mom, or is it the daughter? It's really weird how, it's the 80s, so that stuff, I guess, isn't as frowned upon, but it's really weird if a dude just randomly shows up in your house while you're in the shower, and then you're just like, okay, cool, let's make out. Like, that's great. I love it. Thank you. So yeah, and then literally right after that, just gone. Not in the plot whatsoever. But yeah, it's basically, Nick Cage being Nick Cage without being over the top, because obviously it's the beginning of his career. But then, they basically get back together. He goes to the prom, and in search of her, randomly fights, her ex-boyfriend, her boyfriend at the time, I guess, because they got back together, whatever. The weird thing is, and it really made me think of Karate Kid, because obviously the Valley is where Karate Kid is, and the boyfriend just whips out karate moves on the stage before they're announced, king and queen. It's just really weird and random. He just starts doing karate moves, making all the weird noises and stuff that you would do, and then basically, like, he just gets, kicked somewhere and goes down for the punch, and then Nick Cage is like, all right, let's just get out of here. So they get in the car, and then just drive away, and that's literally the movie. That's the ending. They're just like, oh yeah, you just kicked my friend, or my boyfriend, and all right, well, we'll get back together. We're good. And obviously right then and there, super random. I don't know if this is his first movie, first cameo, anything, but Billy Zane is just like a chauffeur. He literally just turns around, says 2 lines to him, and then it's like, all right, cool, you hopped in my car, let's drive, like, let's get out of here. And then boom, movie's done, credits roll. So I'm not gonna lie, overall I kind of liked it. It was really weird, obviously weird plot lines, weird subplot, but it's just your stereotypical 80 movie almost. Like, they fall in love, will they, won't they? She gets back together with her ex, and then she realizes, she really loves him, and then they go from there. I will say this, the music is amazing. If you like 80s, hair bands and stuff like that, like 80s pop and everything, music's great. That was definitely one of the most enjoyable things. And obviously, too, I mentioned right in the beginning of this video, Nick Cage literally just has, if you see it, he's with his shirt off a lot. He just has a triangle shaved into his chest hair. I guarantee that's not real or not natural. If it is, by all means, Nick Cage, you have the weirdest chest hair growth in the entire world. But that's a triangle. I don't know. Maybe that's what they were going for. Maybe that was a cool thing back in the 1980s. I couldn't tell you. But without further ado, that is the end of that video, of this movie. So, again, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. I want to try and do some older movies, shed some light. Again, this was more of Ken from Mid-Level Media is doing a Nick Cage. So I wanted to watch something of Nick Cage's that I've never seen before, and why not start with his first lead role of any movie that he's done and kind of go from there. So who knows, maybe I'll do some more Nick Cage movies. I have some movies set off to the side that I just feel like haven't gotten their respect, or they're not talked about as much. So we'll go from there. I have Buzz Lightyear review that's probably going to come out before this video, or Lightyear. And then obviously, not next weekend, or actually I think it is next weekend now. Black Phone and Elvis movie both come out. So I'll try and put the Elvis up early. If not, it'll probably be Thursday or Friday or so when they come out. I'm just really excited about them. So yeah, other than that, we'll take it from here and we'll keep these things going.